When you're staring at a long list of workstation CPUs and you start wondering whether you're about to waste a six-figure budget on something you'll barely tap, that hesitation is real. I've spent the last couple of weeks digging into the Threadripper Pro line, reading the technical white papers, checking out a few build logs, and talking to a couple of freelancers who actually run these chips day in day out. My goal here is to cut through the hype and help you decide if the 5975WX truly fits the workload you have, or if it's just another piece of silicon that looks impressive on paper but ends up gathering dust. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the 5975WX isn't a gaming upgrade, it's a workstation engine. It's built for people who need a lot of cores working at the same time. Think of a visual effects artist rendering a 30-second 8K sequence, a data scientist running Monte Carlo simulations, or an architectural firm running multiple instances of Revit and V-Ray simultaneously. In those scenarios, the 32 cores and 64 threads can shave hours off a job that would otherwise take a day on a more mainstream 12-core CPU. One of the engineers I talked to mentioned that a typical render that took 12 hours on a 24-core system dropped to just under 7 hours after moving to a Threadripper Pro build. That's a real productivity gain, not just a brag-worthy benchmark number. But the value you get isn't just about raw core count. The Pro series brings ECC memory support, a feature you rarely see on consumer chips. If you're dealing with critical simulations where a single bit flip could corrupt a model, that extra safety net can be worth the added cost of DDR4 ECC kits. The platform also offers up to 128 PCIe 4.0 lanes, which translates to the ability to run 4 high-end GPUs, several NVMe drives, and a fast network card all at full bandwidth without the usual compromises. For a studio that needs to keep multiple GPU-accelerated tasks running side by side, that lane count is a practical advantage you'll feel in the day-to-day workflow. Now let's talk about the hidden trade-offs. The first thing most people run into is the ecosystem cost. The 5975WX sits on the SWRX80 socket, and those motherboards start around $800 and can easily top $1,200 when you add the necessary VRM cooling, 10-bit Ethernet, and plenty of M.2 slots. Then you need a robust PSU 850W is the bare minimum, and many builds end up at the 1200W level to stay in the safe zone under load. Add to that the need for a full tower case that can handle the massive cooler you'll need. The chip's 280W TDP means you're looking at a large AIO or custom water loop to keep temperatures in the 60-70 C range under sustained workloads. Those are real cash outlays that many reviewers gloss over. Thermal management is another practical concern. I've seen build logs where users reported that even with a 360mm radiator, the CPU stayed near 80 C during long renders, prompting them to dial back clock speeds to stay within the safe envelope. The chip does have a respectable boost algorithm, but unlike a mainstream Ryzen 9, you won't get the same headroom for overclocking because the silicon is already tuned for stability under heavy, multi-threaded loads. If you're hoping to push the clock higher for occasional single-threaded tasks, you'll be disappointed. Software scaling is a subtle but important factor. Most modern render engines, like Octane, Redshift, and Blender's cycles, are designed to take advantage of many cores, but not every application scales linearly. In my research, a few CAD packages showed diminishing returns after about 16 cores. That means if your primary workflow revolves around those tools, you might not see the full benefit of 32 cores. It's a classic case of matching the toolchain to the hardware. The 5975WX shines when the software can actually chew through those threads. Who should consider buying this? If you're a professional studio that runs multiple GPU-accelerated workloads simultaneously, if you need ECC memory for mission-critical simulations, or if you regularly hit the ceiling of 24-core platforms, this CPU is a logical step up. It also makes sense for a small team that wants to consolidate several workstations into one powerful box. The abundant PCIe lanes let you run several GPUs and fast storage without bottlenecks, reducing the overall footprint and simplifying cable management. Who should skip it? Gamers, streamers who mainly play at 1080p or 1440p, and hobbyists who only edit 1080p video will find far better Pricito performance elsewhere. Even many YouTubers who do 4K editing can get away with a high-end mainstream Ryzen 9 or Intel i9 paired with a decent GPU. If your workload is mostly single-threaded or only modestly multi-threaded, the extra cores become an expense you don't recoup in time saved. Also, if you're not prepared to invest in the supporting hardware,